as Cosatu in regarding to those BRICS. And we are touching briefly to look to each of those particular countries. We look at India, comrade. India is regarded as one of the most 10 worst countries for the working people. They use violence against workers. And we have seen it, comrade, in few weeks ago, there was a national strike in India. The government in India under Modi is a right-wing government outright. We look to Brazil, we said the PT has lost power, and everything that the Lula government and the Dilma government has been trying to improve the life of the Brazilian people is on a reverse. You look at China, our friends, they are counted as amongst the 25 countries with the worst records on trade union rights violation. We love them, of course. Sometimes we love anything that is anti-American. So the enemies of America become our friends, irrespective in terms of what they are doing. We look at Russia. It is almost impossible, comrade, to have a strike in Russia. Of course, there's a trade union that we work with in terms of the BRICS. But when they speak, there's little difference in terms of what Putin says. The other trade unions, which the left, have no space in Russia. The point we are making, comrade, is that maybe we need to pause as Cosatu and look to those countries in terms of BRICS and see whether the promises and the dreams we have on BRICS is working for us. Of course, we try to send, we're told, Minister Nene to head it. As I told namanje report ukuthi washo napho comrade Nene. Ngosase sithembe yena ukuthi sizake sikhuluma isiZulu masikhuluma namaRussia bangasizwa ukuthi nathi sithini. Comrade, we went on in relations to the report and looked to Africa with our commitment to build a strong trade union in Africa. We are not there as yet, comrade, but there are signs that they could hope on us that we can be able to make that positive contribution. In SATUC, we're not even in the leadership of SATUC because at the time of the Congress we're not in good standing. So this sickness of not being in good standing is not only happening to unions, but is also happening to Cosatu. We're engaged in terms of the trilaterals between ourselves, Ghana, TUC, and NLC of Nigeria, trying to address what we believe that our starting point is to build a trade union. We are aware of the agenda for Africa, but maybe we need to engage one day. Comrade Tito is here. Sometimes when we're debating among the office bearer and say, if you set a program and the deadline of realizing that program, when you will all be dead, is it the right way to set a target? When the African leaders who are on age, average age, are older than us, they said that by 2063, they want to realize something when all of them will be gone at that particular time. whether really are they serious about setting this program, or they just want to shift it on and say, at least we indicated we got a long-term plan to deal with this particular issue. So we're raising issues, comrade, in terms of Africa and the industrialization that we can debate. All said and done, comrade, we have then to come back home and said we see the balances of forces somewhere else. What is the situation at home? And the starting point for us is that we need to have an honest critique of the alliance if we have to arrive at some serious revolutionary intervention. We said, comrade, the alliance have some challenges. Maybe challenges you put diplomatical as a trade union. We're in serious problem. Serious problem. And we need to find a way from when we engage in the CEC, in the commission, what is it that we need to do and do differently so that the leader of the alliance can see that we're doing these things, not because we hate them, but we love the organization that they are leading. We say all the good things we think, but nobody is listening in terms of what needed to be done. So we need to engage not only on the last 5 years, comrade. Our view in the CEC is that we must look to the whole 30 years of the alliance. Yini leske sayenza yabonakala. We love this alliance, comrade. Even when we are consulted on a 5 minutes midnight, the president called and said, I'm changing this leadership. We are so excited that we are consulted when in fact we have been informed of the decision taken. But we still feel good, no, we're consulted because we received the call. That can't be consultation, comrade. If we have to move forward, looking to how the alliance works and how it needs to be configured, we must be able to debate and debate it soberly, comrade. What is it that we need to do so that the leaders of our movement can be able to understand the problem that we are facing? In that context, we'll also be able to analyze why the right wing, people who are born yesterday, can be able to mount such support within the very space of time. But it goes back to the issue we said earlier, that when people are desperate, they are looking for anybody that can stand up and deal with it. Look at the Makoni. He was the economic minister in the Hollande government. A few months ago, he formed a party, win the election, is the president. Few months. Here at home, comrade, we still believe, our track record will be able to save us. It's not going to save us, comrade. Sometimes when comrade raise this issue, we want to die in a movement yet. We think sometimes they are rude, man. Comrade, how can you say this? Sometimes the communists ask this thing because some communists are sabi luto. Do you want to die with them or you let them die alone? Said, I comrade. Ningayisho into ancient. Nobody should die here. We all want to live it on. But seriously, comrade, we must discuss the configuration of the alliance if we have to save the ANC from itself. And failure to do that, comrade, it's a disaster for all of us. So we're going to the meeting, comrade, next week. There's an Alliance Political Council. And the agenda is interesting. We must explain why we have taken the decision that President Zuma must step down. So we understand ukuthi the guilty is eating a party. Ingoni sanko mhlambi iza mediator yon ukuthi hayi bebangasho kanje. Comrade, the CEC has taken that decision. The Central Committee must endorse this decision. And we'll try to explain, comrade. Kune problem nge ayasho amanesi la, comrade. Ukuthi umuntu ogulayo sometimes akafuna ukuthatha medication. Ubathe nanka amaphilisi awathatha wafake ngaphansi kolima aphuza amanzi mawuphuma wakafula. We think the ANC leadership is in that position, comrade. Ngiyangithusa manikhuluma kanje phela mina ngi-Orlando Pirates manje ngisijwayele ukulwa thina masenenza kanje. And comrade asinayo ke enye iway yokuyinceda ANC yethu ngaphandle kokuthi siyitshele. So that one day we'll stand tall and said, but we did advise. And then they refuse our advice in terms of those issues. But we will advise, we'll go there, and we'll be able to tell them why we think the president has to step down. We'll also explain, comrade, why we are making public pronouncement. Sesikhathele ukuyihlebele ANC. Sibhalela incwadi. uFrance wayengitshele enye indaba ngomuntu owayengezwa kahle indlebeni. Bemtshela ukuthi nayi ingozi. Amemeze bathi bayamhlebela. Ukuthi hayi baleka bosekubi yena kezwa ukuthi uyamemeza futhi uring repeat. So ANC comrade, we are going to talk to it because we love it. Ukuthi things have to change, comrade, and we are running against time. We know, comrade, we are accused. Ukuthi all the problem in the ANC now has started by us for pronouncing ukuthi comrade Cyril should be the next president. Sisho kahle thina sivote comrade Cosatu in the ANC policy conference. But we are just suggesting ukuthi hayibo thina ngathi sibona upresident lo deputy ngoba since 1994 bonke deputy president baba ngabo president. So we accuse comrade ukuthi no yithi esikhulume kuqala. But ukhona abakhulumayo every day. And bona bangama members we ANC, ma structures we ANC openly and publicly. ANC ayibaboni. Manje ke one of the priests we SACP ubethi you cannot unseen what we have seen. Isilungu esikhulu ke lesi, you cannot unseen what we have seen. Ne ANC comrade, it cannot pretend ukuthi there are people in the ANC structures who got their own choice. Not we got our own choice, but ours is principle, comrade. the ANC must solve this thing, a succession debate, that every 5 years we are back to square one. The ANC must sort this thing for. How can you have your own president who tune confidence guye, but your deputy president who tune confidence guye cannot be the president? Why you put him there in the first place if you have no trust on him? In fact, we have a view which this is a vote of no confidence with the deputy president. Why bangamtsheli manje ukuthi we have no confidence ukuba yi-leader? Thina siyamazi ke why organize mine. Why there when the ANC was banned as a general secretary? Kungekho ama-structures la. Wawaka wathi maseba awakile bathi ke hamba ke sowusebenzile. Thina ke sibuye emakhaya le siyazi ukuthi umuntu ozingelayo niyakwazi ukuzingela manje, hunting with hunting dog. Uma le nje ibamba inyamazana iyendlini nayo ufike wena uyiphayeke bese ibona ngamathamba aphuma inyama engayitholi. Sheshe sifunde lezi zinja lezi. Next time uma uzingela mayigijimisa inyamazana mayitshobela ngale ibuya seyinegazi kuphela inyamazana ayisela. Because iyafunda ukuthi ngizambambela lo mlisa athi masayitholile ngibone ngamathambo kuphela. So we need to engage, comrade, with the ANC on the reconfiguration of the alliance. On the party and Cosatu, comrade, this is one of the sorry stories that we are not engaging as we supposed to. Iphathi beka amakhadi imshini walapha ngaphandle ya recruit. Bengingaba ngcono comrade mase siphuma la ube nekhadi nje lephathi uzofunda ukuthi at least malikhona uthi noma ungaye meeting nokukhumbule ukuthi konje I belong to this organization as a starting point. Ujoin nje. Ubone ukuthi it is not painful to be a member of the party. Mina ke party ngithandela into eyi-1 iqiniso nje kuphela. Lokunye they can talk about it, but what I like with the communists is to be truthful all the time. So we need to engage, comrade. It can't be a slogan how we deal with the party. The same issue, comrade, Nesanko, we have to improve our relationship. Now, one of the issues, comrade, we are touching is we are racing against time. Ilento a radical economic transformation. This is one of the commission that we must debate these issues, because in the records, in the report, we trace this thing that it is not new for a liberation party when is it some problem to talk about the radical economic transformation. So it's not a new thing. Not only happening with the ANC. In the report, we indicated number of organizations that have done that. But in many of them, comrade, they raise this thing when they are losing support of people. We want to ask the ANC as we debate, is it true that you want radical economic transformation, and want to ask, why only after 20 years? Bazosichazela abaziyo, but we know what it is not. We may not know what is an economic transformation, but we know what it is not. Siyasho ke lapha ukuthi akungathiwa ama-BEE. You must not take and make the state weak and give money to your individuals because of their proximity. Will tell and say that is not radical economic transformation. We know what is state capture, akuyona economic transformation. So we know what it is not. So we need to redefine it thina ukuthi uma isebenze kanjani. But you can't make a state-owned enterprise to be weak as a starting point. It can't be. In fact, Comrade Sola, I work in one company kwakuthiwa iSasol. Njalo mangibheka i-letterhead of that company, my heart bleeds. You know why? That company was built by workers' money. Sasol. The first ANC minister who energy after OPEC board, wayithengisa that company nge-1 rand seal. You know 1 rand seal? Ma ukudala wawenza ama-agreement, kumele kube ne-seal, it was 1 rand. The stamp leso. Wayithengisa uComrade Maduna, u-chairperson lapha kuma-board. A state-owned company that was making millions of rand, structured in a manner yokuthi petrol eSasol is almost guaranteed in terms of price. A company that distribute petrol to the whole old Transvaal and Free State. Wayithengisa. Yathengwa uye nabanye abangani bakhe. So lento ka Brian Molefe nabanye is not new in the ANC. Uthengise ke eRabini bayibiza ngokuthi up and under. Kahlela ibhola liyele ugijime ngapha kulibambe. Abotishera ke bona abafundile ku sport bathi we are throwing a javelin. Comrade, it can't be a radical economic transformation to work for the few. And I think this is a battle, comrade, that we can't lose as workers. If we lose it, comrade, let's forget. The leadership, ANC isikolele ngoba emva kwaloko sobe sikhuluma ukuthi kwakungcono eGibhithe. Forced by circumstances, comrade. So we said, comrade, we must debate this issue, radical economic transformation. On the other issues, comrade, in relation to our implementation, as I'm going to be finishing, comrade President, is that we have made a number of improvements for our members. From the UIF, we went on strike here, comrade, stopping a comprehensive their retirement or annuitization of the Provident Fund. Is a debate we need to engage on, comrade, so that we can be able to see what our savings wethu siwenza kanjani. Linked to that issue, comrade, is the issue of the PIC. Siyacela, comrade, ku public service, sector union. Please look after the workers' money there. People are getting richer and richer using workers' money, and the owners of those monies remain poor. It can't be. This economy, comrade, is stand on the workers' money. Loan mean many of the companies, the stock exchange, comrade, EPIC in a stake. So we need to engage in relation to those issues, comrade. We're going to have a big battle this year, comrade, because uMinister we-Social Development lesimthandayo has tabled the comprehensive social security document together with Treasury. But that department, as we speak, comrade, has no capacity to engage. And the DG who have been driving that comprehensive social security is gone. Manje asazi sizonegotiate nobani. Uminister uyasibalekela noma sesimvayitha ku labor school sithi hayi uze nje ntambama uzosibulisa. Uyasibalekela. And the deadline in Parliament is September to finalize this thing, the comprehensive social security and taxation. We are going for a big battle, comrade. We must prepare now, which we can't agree. The second issue, comrade, for big campaign that is coming up is on the agentization of the state. My comrade, sometimes I ask confused. One day, but no, make the state strong. Satislalele, but no, create my agent. In our agencies. Minister of Finance, we have a big battle now for 2 years. Officials angabi ne right to strike. Ufuna abo magistrate bangabi ne right to strike nama judges. Siyambuza ke. When was the last time you seen judges on strike? Uthi no, they've never seen them on strike. Nonetheless, ufuna bangabi nalo right of striking. Ufuna section of the SARS that has been working wonderful to be transferred to this new agency. But why? There were no reason. The only partner that was helping us, the Minister with Finance, Praveen. So besilwa no Kikaba, sincediso Praveen in our defense. Ukikaba now has moved, but I think that was Praveen, our friend. We don't know now, but also snetisa because the same person, umuvile manje, that pressure is going to be a big battle, comrade. Because workers are resolute, they will not render or give away the right to strikes in those particular agents. Angeke sivume, comrade, singavumi futhi. So there are a number of issues, comrade. We are reporting a case ye labor brokering, ikhona communication. Izenje nabantu abayi-4. But comrade, we have been asking our union, we must test this law on labor brokering. It says after 3 months, you must be regarded as permanent. You are deemed to be permanent. Ama lawyer means deemed means you are permanent unless there are other conditions. So, comrade, if that's not happening, let's take case so that we can set precedent on this issue. Ama union, our phone, the Communication Workers Union, comrade, have taken a case to the CCMA at least. And the commissioner in the CCMA agrees with them that after 3 months, you are regarded as permanent. And I'm going to see the communication over brave. What is left, comrade? With hope, the employer will then take this case to review so that the court can confirm whether that interpretation is right or wrong. So there are a number, comrade, of campaigns that we need to be taking, which I'm not going to take you through. On the report of the implementation, comrade, of our resolution, the only disadvantage we have is that ordinarily we have the Central Committee in September, but now we're having it in May, and the period of doing the assessment is a little bit shortened. But we are seeing some progress in that area, comrade. But there's one issue that the Central Committee must address, and address it, comrade, very, very carefully. Is the inter-union fighting. Is a problem, comrade. The problem of money in the union is a cancer that is destroying the union. We wanted to create, because a union cannot survive only on subscription. Wanted to create vehicles to be able to get the resources. I mean, there are unions who has done that things wonderful, comrade. The NUM has produced a graduate, I think they got all sort of people that you may need, comrade Tito, in terms of the skill. Lawyers, engineers, doctors, miners, through that fund. The clothing and textile, comrade, they even have clinics. Clinics and many, many other issues. Naleya TV is quota wrong all the time. Lena TV ama union, can you say something right? Just for once. I know kolimham agawbambu machine. Nihau and others, comrades, I'm just making one example. The investment by unions, comrades, are doing positive things, provided they are run correctly. The problem sometimes is the leadership of union. Umuntu ba general secretary or president. Wandluli theme ethile. Nazi ukuthi ne problem. Ordinarily bengivama ukutshela uSlovo ukuthi Slovo, if a union retired 65, you must elect your general secretary at 60, so he can run only one term and leave before he can see this thing. Because when the leaders leave, they want to be deployed to the Union Investment Fund. Abanye abana clue. Put mali le investment ku investa nini, immature nini, and all those things. Afika nje lapha ufuna ukulawula nje ubulawula iunion. Imali kayilawulwa njenge union, comrade. That is the problem, comrade, we have. But comrade, union and public transport, there are these accusations. Isamu, there are accusations. Amanye ngeke wabelieve, comrade. Uma bekutshela bathi hayi i-union ithenga i-building nge-10 million, but seyiyalungisa seyispende 70 million, ilungisa i-building nge-10 million. You won't believe it. No, banamanga, comrade. It's not practically possible. Ungcono mali yami yena wafuna wathenga indlu wayidestroya ecalela phansi yangaphela. One of the richest union is Sipau, in a liquidity at 10 billion. Ama asset manager ayibambile afuna ukuchange leadership ye union. The same thing ama-service providers, comrades. Aqala ngamathikithi okuthi uye ebholeni. Ungene ebholeni, uhlale, ubone i-owner asset manager izokubulisa for the first time, shaking your hand, ifaka amateki nawe, ikubuze ukuthi what are you drinking? Uzobona wena nge-half time, kunama-proposal we-business. What do you think about this thing? Have you ever been in the July handicap? And you start flying, ungakaze ugibele aeroplane, flying, uhlale epeni makuseve. Is a problem, comrade. The point we are making and asking the CEC that we must debate this thing in the commission. We can't fold our arms when there's a union in distress. Ama comrade guy protect terrain, but no awas lama issues. Not NOPs, comrade. We are not talking about ama intervention by NOPs. No. Ngoba ama NOPs niyawakhumbuza ukuthi uma khuluma kakhulu athi no wrong lento le. Bese umuntu aphinda abuze, "Konje Congress eCosatu nini?" Sokuthi uyakukhumbuza ukuthi lezi zinto zisho namhlanje zingaba ngama matters rising ku Congress. We want power to be given to the Central Committee, comrade. That the CC must appoint people that can help the union. Union can't hide behind the constitution, comrade. Bangenile abasebenzi eCosatu. I'm sure amaphepha awasizwe isizwe. Bangena, comrade. Kwathula umoya kwathi tu. You know, amasebenzi mabangena nama overall. Nisemhlanganweni. Ubona bangena nje ukuthi these are not members of the CC. Ngendlela abahamba ngakhona nje ukuthi udolophu uyazi ke ukhuluma kakhulu ku CC wathula wathi tu yahlekele ngakhe. It can't be, comrade, when workers are making that cry. Ukuthi they love Cosatu, they are going nowhere. So they tell us, we are going nowhere. But Cosatu must help us to do the right thing for our union because we love our union. We must be able, comrade, to take a resolution here. How to help those unions, especially the industrial unions, comrade. We must help them, and we must help them earlier, comrade. It has not happened, comrade, kube ne union efake apology to Cosatu Central Committee. Ithi ayina mali yokuza. Ungenza lana ngenyawo from la ithembisa. It clearly, comrade, demonstrates a problem. The reason we say this thing, comrade, in a jokingly manner, so that even lama comrade akavumi ukuthi ake ngivuma uncedwa. Open up. Cosatu loves you, and Cosatu will help you in dealing with those issues. On finances of the Federation, comrade, we reported earlier to my union that are financially challenged. We are experiencing a deficit of 1.6 million rand per month. And the union, comrade, that are unable to pay a subscription, you may ask, where do they spend their money? They spend them with lawyers fighting one another. We owe lawyers millions as collective trade union. Millions. It can't happen in that way, comrade. We need to intervene and be able to engage and help the unions in dealing with our challenge. Ngiyazi ke comrade, nizothanda nje ukuthi ngikhulume ngingaqedi. I know your love for Ipakania, but I have to stop here, Comrade President, and be able to sit down. Amandla! Long live Cosatu, long live! Long live Cosatu, long live! Phambili nomzabalazo wabasebenzi phambili. Siyamfuna uCR, siyamfuna. Siyamthanda uCR, siyamthanda. Amandla!
Viva Cosatu, viva! Viva Cosatu, viva! Viva South African Communist Party, viva! Viva ANC, viva! Viva Sanko, viva! Comrades, I'm going to invite the General Secretary back to the podium to just outline how are we going to engage now, since he has made the presentation he has made up to now. We must also be mindful that the General Secretary of the Communist Party is on the way, coming to address us. Let me also welcome the leadership of the Communist Party, led by Comrade Zokwana. I know they were having a Politburo meeting today. I also saw Comrade, in the party is not like Cosatu. Hey! They are led now by the second Deputy General Secretary, Comrade Solima Paila. And I have also seen the former Deputy President of Cosatu, Comrade Joe Ngosi. I don't see him now. I wanted to acknowledge him properly in his presence. Comrade General Secretary, can you come back to just outline how do we move from here?
See
Amandla. Amandla. Viva Cosatu, viva! Viva Cosatu, viva! Qina Cosatu, qina! Comrades, let me invite the General Secretary of Cosatu to introduce the next speaker. Brataiga.
Amandla. Comrade, can we ask my comrade to staff? Baleti I register la kusanko na kuphathi na ku ANC. Ajuza kahle ama comrade swa recognize ukuthi akhona la. Please comrade senzeni kanjalo. Sizon introduce ama comrade singaka introduce ningathi lama comrade we Cosatu are overexcited asikhohle ukuthi the organization yaqalwa yithi. Ngizwile ngathi khona abacomplainayo mangithi iPirate number 1 kayi 211. But Orlando Pirates number 11. Orlando Pirates 1 kayi 211. Manje ngizonitshela nje esinye istory esincane before ngibiza indoda kwaDambuza ukuthi sometimes back laba badalanyana Comrade Susan wayekhona la in a NUM conference kwakuba nama interpreter kwakunama interpreter ngoba ama members we NUM la ehlala khona ekhuluma ifana kalo. So kuyi language abahlanganisana ngayo lezangale ngakithi no Mike esibe Mozambique naleza kaStumo ngoba phela manengi ama foreigners la ku leadership yeCosatu. Sike sayidiscussa nje le ndaba mangabe uthi omunye oGeneral Secretary uhambile ukuthi ayizi ngakithi limadoda le ndaba. Ngabe incwadi zakho zikahle na. uJoyce Bekane wake wathi ahamba lapha eJohannesburg kunehotela lapha eJoburg kuthiwa eJohannesburg emeetingini. Azafika la insizwa zephophu zathi insipha phambi kwakhe uJoyce zathi pass zifuna iPassport. uJoyce wathi cha nizongifuna ipass apha wathi hasokwazi nothetha nesixhosa babona ikhala yakhe wayengaqumbanga wafika ejuluke eCosatu athi yo amaphoyisa angidelela ma bheke wena mangijongile mina ngabuye eNigeria ngithi hayi Joyce amaphoyisa enza umsebenzi wabo. So in the NUM ke ama comrade kunalefana kalo masivali Congress yasuka umunye umsebenzi uthi Cyril angithi bebangakwazi ukuthi Cyril kakhulu ababuye eNatal Cyril lezinto zasemayini lezi amase sikwatile sikhohliwe ukuthi uDeputy President kubiza njengegama Cyril sikhathele lefana kalo njalo sitolikelwa la simikise esikolweni next congress funa ukukhuluma isilungu high leadership biza abo France bathi akohandlisha yini isikolo lezi Elijah Bahai bafundi abet hayi hlanganiswe abet ngiyala inamba indabeni yokubala inamba ke. So utishara bafika abafundisi athi 3 plus 3 6. Zibambe lezi zinto 3 plus 3 6 3 plus 3 6. The following day asibuza utishara 4 plus 2 ngakhi. Rita says ngana usifundisanga ukuthi 4 plus 2 ngakhi. Utishara athi no, 4 plus 2 is 6. Zimjonge zithi ucinga ukuthi siphambene thina. Izolo lokubo uthi 3 plus 3 6 ngoba uthi 4 plus 2 6. Hayi ziribhele lezi zinto zithi angeke asamfundo teacher uyasixokisa kasifundisi kahle. So ithi ke comrade ngibize uteacher omkhulu la. Phela abantu bazi ukuthi uma uyiminister ye-education ufunde kakhulu nangu no comrade Ange ufunda kakhulu bese kuba i-principal ube uyi-inspector ube uyi-minister. Ucomrade Blade akadingi introduction msho akekho ongamazi msho. Yinye nje into engangithanda ngaye ayengifundisa yona ukuthi ungaboli uma ugibela ibhasi ubone libhaliwe ukuthi Dambuza bese uthi la kwa Dambuza uma ungena umbuze nomshayeli liyapi le bus. Ngoba sometimes abo driver bayakhohle ukuchange lento le. So wena ngathi ugibela ibhasi elibhalwe Dambuza kanti alisaye eDambuza. Seliye hostela le kwamashu abo ngeke uthande khona. So comrade Blade naba basebenzi ningamsukumisa comrade uyasiculela kodwa kwamanje ningamsukumisa azoba warm.
Cosatu, qina. Kula, Cosatu, kula. Viva the African National Congress, viva. Viva the SACP, viva. Viva Sanko, viva. Viva the YCL Fasimba, viva. Phansi nokudelezwa phansi. Pants and outsourcing pants. Forward to socialism, forward. Mandla. Comrade President. Comrade Usidumo Dlamini. Ngibonge nakunobhala. Ucomrade ubheka intshala. Na wonke ama-officials. Cosatu njengoba ehleli la ngaphambili bengithi ku comrade ubheki uzosho ukuthi a former general secretary we SACP otisha so minister of sports manje ke Maluleka comrade Maluleka besithi nizomlobhisha ukuthi akacela ukuthi kulonyaka ekisuspend just for one season top 8 ke sibe ne top 11. Just for one season. As a mandate le comrade esinika yona uthisha omkhulu. Ngicela ke comrades ukubingelela kwi delegation ye ANC ekhona la. Angazi lidwa ubani njengoba behleli lapha. Ngibona ucomrade uSusan, ngibona ucomrade uAngie. Nothisha omkhulu ngizokuthiwa bangintshontshile kwi delegation ye ANC without the approval of the SACP. I need to say that. Ngibingelele na kwi delegation ye SACP elidwa ucomrade uZokwana njengosihlalo. Into embi nje sakhetha usihlalo wrong. Support any team number 4, but there is no difference. There is no difference number 4 or number 11. Yeah, it's just a question of degrees. Ngibingelele nani nonke maqabane leadership yonke ama affiliates ekhona la. Nama delegates. And all the guests at Cosatu's corner. Leadership yeSANCO. Ngenza kanjani iphutha nga recognize leadership yeSANCO na ihleli ngapha. Good afternoon to all of you comrades. The SACP, we really wish to take this opportunity to wish this Central Committee of Cosatu successful deliberations. Our message to this gathering today is divided into 5 parts, Mongameli. The first part, we want to start with what we see as current and immediate challenges facing our revolution. The second part, we want to talk about progress, achievements, and weaknesses since 2009. Why do we choose 2009? We want to focus on the Zuma administration, which started in 2009. The third part will be about what we see as the key task facing our revolution, which is the centrality of driving a second, more radical phase of our transition. And fourthly, part 4, the necessity to solidify the relationship between the SACP and Cosatu, including the need to reconfigure our alliance. And then the last part, we're going to just share with you very briefly some of the tasks facing the SACP in our forthcoming 14th Congress, which is in July this year. On the first issue, comrades, about the current and immediate challenges facing our revolution, Comrade President and delegates, it would be disingenuous or we would be untruthful as the SACP if we do not admit up front that our revolution and the liberation movement as a whole are facing enormous threats and challenges at the present moment. Failure to overcome these threats and challenges may actually lead to a serious reversal, if not defeat, of all what we have achieved, especially since the 1994 democratic breakthrough. NgesiZulu kuthiwa itshele imngodi kombose kababa. We have to be honest and frank about that. It is for this reason that we would ask this Central Committee to take to heart what Comrade Oliver Tambo in this year of his centenary, said on the 2nd of May, 1984, at the Solomon Mahlangu College in Tanzania. And I quote, "Let us tell the truth to ourselves, even if the truth coincides with what the enemy is saying. Let us tell the truth." It is very important, comrades, that we remind ourselves of these pearls of wisdom from those who came before us. Also, in order to expose those who always accuse us of working with the enemy whenever we tell the truth about the weaknesses in our movement. We must refuse to be blackmailed. That when we criticize something that is wrong in our movement, we are told that we are talking the same language as the DA. Oliver Tambo uti, tell the truth, even if it coincides with what the enemy is saying. And we must refuse to be blackmailed. Comrades, whilst monopoly capital remains our strategic enemy, but the most immediate threat facing our revolution are the parasitic networks encircling the state and our economy, at the center of which is the Gupta family, which is working with some of the most senior comrades in our movement and the state. Angwazi lo mndeni wabananhlanhlane ukuphuma ezweni lakubo uyothatha izwe labanye abantu usuku udla umnotho wezwe lethu sonke bese sisotshela ukuthi balwa ne-monopoly capital. Sometimes our detractors say, but why is the SACP fighting these parasitic networks, but not monopoly capital? But this is a lie. No matter how many times they can repeat it. Since our formation in 1921, our primary struggle has been against both national oppression and its economic foundations based especially on mining capital. Capitalism in our country through mining and UM. Since the year 2000, we have waged a heroic struggle for the transformation and the diversification of the financial sector, including the banks. Asqalanga thina to fight the struggle for the transformation of the banks when the Gupta's accounts were taken away from them. We didn't start there, we started in the year 2000. And we want the transformation of the banks, not for particular families, but for the workers and the poor of our country. Also, we have been accused, why the preoccupation with the Gupta family? This is another lie. Kukhona family kwakuthiwa yaka Kebo, which wanted to capture a youth league. We were the only organization as the SACP which stood up and say no to Kebolism. As we say now, no to Guptarization of our economy and the state. Or any other form of capture. We have been fighting with Cosatu, for instance, saying no to business unionism. Let your investment vehicles not be used to capture some of you as leaders of this glorious organization, Cosatu. We've been there, and we want the Central Committee to stand up, comrades, with us and say no to corporate capture of our organizations or our movement and the state. Down with state capture, down. Now, the fifth democratic administration, and particularly since December 2015, has seen the dramatic destabilization of the pre-existing but always unstable post-Polokwane relative correlation of forces within the ANC and government. You know, comrades, we went to Polokwane and we scored important victories. But the fact of the matter is that as the working class formation, we were in alliance with some forces who were not genuinely wanting an ANC to be transformed to serve its historic duty, but they were angry that they were outside the trough where there was eating. Yes. Abanye babo sebahamba, like uMalima ne-EFF. We're in alliance with him, Polokwane, not because he was interested in fundamental change for the benefit of the workers and the poor, but it's because he was outside. Engahle kusaphethe umbeki. Because it's important now that, as Oliver Tambo says, that we speak the truth. We are worried that, especially around 2015, but especially after the Mangaung conference, there's been a well-coordinated resolve drive by a network parasitic patronage faction connected to the narrow BE tendency and supported from the highest echelons of our movement in the state. Siyalikhuluma ke iqiniso thina sama komanisi ngoba noma siceli ukuthi asiseve izwe, we must serve the country as cabinet minister president, but asincenge ikhundla, asincenge ikhundla, and we are serving our government because we are serving our people, not because we are serving individuals. What has happened, especially since 2014, that is wrong? A number of things, but we would like in our message to highlight 4. The first one, there is accelerated rent-seeking activities based on state capture. By the way, we must remind people, when we are talking about a state capture, some of our comrades now are saying this is a foreign concept. We agreed on it in an alliance summit that one of the biggest threats facing our revolution was state capture. Today we are told that no, this is a foreign concept. It's our own alliance that agreed on this. That's the first thing. The second thing is that there are increasing signs of a parallel shadow state and parallel movement. Amanyama decisions, we don't know where they are being taken, but I'll come back to this. Thirdly, there is creeping authoritarianism and ambitions for an imperial presidential system. The reason why Mbeki Satha akahambe, it's because he was wanting to create an imperial president. We are back there. History repeats itself, Comrade Sol, our second Deputy General Secretary. Zonke lezi zinto ezasenze isikhathi sikaMbeki ziyabuya. Even ama-emails are coming back. There were emails then, there were emails now that appeared yesterday. And fourthly, there is an attempt, this as workers we must really be careful about. A pseudo-radical populist ideological platforms to cover for some of these activities. Zufo lezinto. Ngiyambona nangu umongameli we-NUM, ngilalele kahle impela usezulungusa nokhololo. Ngizwe kahle mongameli. What is this accelerated rent-seeking based on state capture? This network parasitic patronage faction is held together by the plundering of public resources, rent-seeking activities that have focused considerably on parasitic relations with state-owned companies. You know, comrades, there are lessons we need to learn. In the late 1990s, it shows how old I am now. We fought together with Cosatu a heroic struggle against privatization. We largely won. We didn't win everything, but we largely won that struggle. But some of the people who were supporting us in that struggle, they were not interested that we preserve SAA, Denel, ESCOM, Transnet in order to drive a developmental agenda to benefit the workers and the poor. They were wanting amatenda, alama state-owned companies. We would keep them in the state so that if we control the state, we are able to actually plunder them. This must be a lesson to the working class that we must not relax after having won victories. Once we won victories, we must always be vigilant that we guard that those victories translate into what we want. Amanye lama chest are being used now to contest the ANC conference in December. Khona bathi singakhulumi nge-ANC samakomanisi. Why? The ANC is not owned by those who are leaders. It's a people's movement. It's our movement. We have a right to talk about it. No one is going to tell us ukuthi singakhulumi nge-ANC. The ANC akuyona indawana nje umkokotelo yabantu abathize. It's our own movement. It's a people's movement. Kuvuka nolimi lakadambuza uma sengikhuluma ngalesi. Now, this rent-seeking, comrades, is very dangerous. The second thing that is very dangerous, Maqabane, is that there is now the development of a parallel shadow state and a parallel shadow movement. You know, comrades, this thing of deployment and the prerogative constitutionally, which is exercised by a president, by a premier and a mayor, we want to remind them that prerogative does not belong to them as individuals. It's a movement's prerogative. The fact that the last reshuffle cabinet happened outside of the alliance and the African National Congress is a problem and is an abuse of the prerogative. The prerogative does not belong to you as an individual. It belongs to us as a movement. I'll come back to this matter. When you have powers to appoint people into many state institutions, the prosecuting authority, the Hawks, and the SARS, state security agents, that's not an individual's prerogative. It's a prerogative that belongs to the movement. Maybe not sense a mistake here, Maqabane. Ngoba sabasebenzi sa concentrate ku economy. Sayishiya the criminal justice system. Uphu Pop Group. Where is Pop Group? Maybe we left that only to Pop Group alone, which was not correct. We should all, led by Pop Group, but we should all be interested in the criminal justice system. We will share this because Maskuruma Nabasebens, that's the only place where we can report. You see, many of us now today are being listened to, including the Communist Party. There is a rogue intelligence unit that operates outside of the law, which is actually listening to other comrades within the organization. We have reported this to the Inspector General. But it's not enough to report to the Inspector General. The working class must stand up and say, this abuse must come to an end. The very same thing as Asasi Luis Elumbegi is happening today. Yes, we are aware even he had a rogue unit. He's being redeployed manje into the diplomatic service. It's too long over say limb. This parallel state, comrades, we must not allow it to develop. We must not allow this parallel state. Maybe more than anybody else. There is also some growing authoritarianism. You know, my comrades said, Some of them are threatening us in the meetings, saying, "Babe ngatrainelwa mahala bona," as MK. As if the person who is able to fight is the one who is making a threat. Wathi ubabugwala nifuna ukudlala abanye abafana nabafana nani kwenze njani? We are being threatened because we are supposed to keep quiet. We are not going to keep quiet. This is our revolution. All of us. And the people who were the head of the revolution in Inana Abasebenz, you were in the forefront in actually dislodging the apartheid regime in 1994. Mina, the president, I'm worried ukuthi abasebenzi angizwa kahle. We are going to be honest as the Communist Party. Asinizwa kahle kule nto ye-state capture. Nithuleleni. Angakaze nimemeze nesiteleka nje sikazwelonke. Ukuthi nasi isiteleka se-state capture because we don't want this thing because this thing is threatening to undo all what we have achieved since 1994. Makuthiwa ngiyan-instigator. Abasebenzi aba-instigator because they are not fools. They know their own interests themselves. Now, you know, comrades, when we went to Zimbabwe, comrades, well, I can't remember, it was in the early 2000s. The SACP sent a delegation on a fact-finding mission. When we engaged with our ZANU-PF comrades, everybody was the enemy. Is that CTU? Was the enemy. I'm professionals, I'm academics, everybody. But we say, how come, comrades, all these forces we are saying they are enemies today, they were part of the victorious forces led by ZANU-PF on the victory of your struggle in 1980. What has changed? Because the ZANU-PF essentially has lost the urban working class, has lost the middle classes, has lost the professionals, has lost many urban-based organizations. It's become a rural part. Because of the mistakes they were making, now our comrades are denying that there is a problem. And in danger, once our liberation movements begin to lose power or sense that they are losing power, they start doing a lot of funny things. Yes. The first thing, they start coming up with radical concepts esingazazi ukuthi zivela. Mugabe lost a referendum and started radical land reform. Wathatha umhlaba anyhow. And the next thing, if they don't succeed, they unleash the security forces on the population. And we must not think that we are immune to that. Now, this underlines the importance of the labor movement to stand up. Now, the other thing that is emerging, that is a problem, is this populism. Populism. You know, there is a new phrase which we do not have, by the way. Comrade Bereng, Nino, Deputy Wakola. Lendok to white monopoly capital. It's not anywhere in the documents of the movement. I'm challenging you to go. This thing is Gupta inspired by this public relations company, Bell Pottinger, by the way, that is now in the emails that are being spoken about. What they don't say in the media is that one of the targets Bell Pottinger was the Communist Party. Who would say our Gupta. It's them who are coming with this concept of white monopoly capital. And they are collecting every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Black first, land first. Ufando Amagupta. New concepts that are actually not there. And that now, if you are challenging things that are wrong in the movement, we are part of the regime change forces. Who is responsible for regime change? Abantu responsible for regime change are the ones who are making these wrong things. Like who go employ Brian kwa Eskom, me and you am in. Why are you quiet about that? Lo muntu bekuphi? Kuthi useliving. Early retirement. Parliament. Abanye bathe kuzothi ube kwi maternity leave. You know, comrades, there is one thing that we must not allow. This thing, ukuthi ama comrades zethu, I expect ukuthi we are going to close ranks just because we are allies, even when they are doing wrong things. That thing must come to an end. That thing must come to an end. We are not going to close ranks when wrong things are being done. Because that's what takes our movement to a Emangaung, by the way. I'll come back to this. We resolved on driving a second, more radical phase of our transition. That's the resolution, or of our democratic revolution. Now, these emails, by the way, we must congratulate our comrades who are in parliament, especially our ordinary members of parliament who sit in many committees. The ad hoc committee on the SABC did well. We must congratulate them. Because they unearthed something that is wrong. We can now be told ukuthi i-caucus ANC can't investigate and identify wrong things, must close ranks, even if some of us who are ministers are doing wrong things. They must call us to account. If I'm doing something wrong with higher education, I must be called to account. So is the comrade to Susan, no comrade to Age, who are here. We must be called to order. This thing has been so loud by SABC for years, causing havoc. Epiku. Where is KU? Communication Workers Union, where are you? Upu Mohamed. Ungasithi. Funa ukubona kahle. Noshabalala. These are wrong things, comrades, that we should not allow to happen. We are happy now that the MPs are getting into Eskom and they are beginning to get into Denel. Because there are many things that we know are going wrong, they must be corrected. And the latest emails reveal publicly for the first time yesterday, if they are true, the extent and depth of this parasitic patronage network. In fact, they underline the importance and urgency of the establishment of a judicial commission of inquiry to be set up as a matter of urgency into state capture. We are pleased that as the SACP we were the first organization to call for this. The danger posed by these parasitic networks require bold and militant worker organization led by Cosatu, but also Cosatu, please, work with other progressive worker organizations and federations, as well as working class communities, to challenge this. We need to remind ourselves, as we are sitting here, what our strategy and tactics document, Morogoro in 1969 said. I quote, "We do not underestimate the complexities which will face a people's government during the transformation period, nor the enormity of the problems of meeting the economic needs of the mass of the oppressed people. But one thing is certain, in our land, this cannot be effectively tackled unless the basic wealth and the basic resources are at the disposal of the people as a whole and are not manipulated by sections of individuals, be they white or black." So we mustn't be told that no enemy white monopoly capital as if black monopoly capital will be our friends. What difference would black monopoly capital make to you as workers? Absolutely nothing. They will act in exactly the same way as white monopoly capital. We are not saying there must not be promotion of black business and so on, but don't pretend as if monopoly capital has color. Monopoly capital has no color. It chases shelling. Comrades, we must, however, acknowledge ukuthi the administration ka Zuma, especially between 2009 and 2014, made some very important changes and some very important achievements. Amongst the things, for instance, it helped us to end this thing of AIDS denialism. Akusafiwa manje. Asisangcwabe ngendlela esasingcwaba ngayo before the administration kaZuma. Ngoba ama-ARVs have been given to our people. Even the life expectancy in our country has increased. We must also not underestimate the investment into infrastructure of R1 trillion between 2009 and 2014, which helped to cushion us from the financial crisis eqale ngo-2008. EPWP, I know we are debating about them, but that EPWP later under Tisho Mkhulu created lots of work opportunities. Of course, all these things, Nama social grants, played a very important role in cushioning our people. But all these things, important as they are, what has not happened, we have not managed to change the semi-colonial character of our economic trajectory. That is the task that is before the Central Committee. How do we change the semi-colonial character of our economy such that it seriously begins to do jobs, to create jobs? We want to say, comrades, President, Nama delegates, one thing as the SACP we are prepared to work with Cosatu with as an immediate task is to strengthen the industrial unions of Cosatu. We are worried that some of the industrial unions of Cosatu, they are facing huge challenges. We know NUM, for instance, was faced with big problems, the attack and everything. But we are pleased that the comrades are beginning to come back. We are willing to work with you so that we actually strengthen all Cosatu unions, but in particular the task now, immediate one, is to strengthen the industrial unions of Cosatu. We are willing to work with you there because it's going to be very crucial if we are to drive a second, more radical phase of our transition. But comrades, some of the weaknesses that we have experienced, that we have been unable to change this. Cosatu faced enormous problems, and the SACP also, our campaigns took a bit of a dive, like the financial sector campaign. Which means one of the things you must be talking about here is how do we revitalize working class activism and militants. We want a militant Cosatu. We don't want a sweetheart Cosatu. We don't want a Cosatu that's an extension of the ANC. We don't want a Cosatu that's the extension of the SACP. We want an independent, militant federation. Now, also, comrades, we need to help the ANC. Comrade Mluleki. No, I know, mina ngizalwa intombi yase Mount Frere Chanceni. Izizwe ujama sijathu ucubungulashe. Ngumshana wase Eastern Cape, those who do not know. We need to assist the ANC, my comrades. We can't celebrate the problems as face the ANC. The ANC is in deep trouble. There is an internal stalemate in the National Executive Committee. These comrades can't provide the leadership to themselves, nor to the alliance as a whole. Now, how are we going to do that? By going to ANC branches. Even some of these ANC branches as no gatekeeping. Let's go into those ANC branches and help the ANC to get out of the quagmire that it is in. Also, ANC in a faction is open. There's an open faction in the ANC which does what it likes, and nobody can actually deal with it. We have to confront that. And don't tell us that we can't talk about the ANC. We will talk about the ANC because it's our movement. We can't celebrate the state that the ANC is in because this country needs an African National Congress. It's in your hands as the workers of this country that you must do that. We help our movement. But some of the things can be done if we commit to build working class power to drive a second, more radical phase of our national democratic revolution. Yabona, comrades, we must not be accused. It's fine to use the concept of radical economic transformation, but the more fundamental concept is driving a second, more radical phase of the national democratic revolution. And we'll be better able to define radical economic transformation within that context. You can't defeat monopoly capital if you allow radical economic transformation to be reduced to enriching the Gupta family. In fact, you have to defeat these parasites in order to drive radical economic transformation. Because if your ESCOM is weak, if your Transnet is weak, if your civil service is weak, we are not going to be able to fight monopoly capital. That's the relationship between the parasites and the struggle against monopoly capital. If you don't defeat the parasites, you have no weapon to do that. That is why, as the SACP, we want to really challenge you, comrades. Please stand up. Or please stood up. You know, comrades, I don't have much time now. If I had time, I would have gone a little bit into saying, if we are talking about a second phase, what was the first phase of the democratic revolution? The first phase of the democratic revolution largely was to destroy the legal instruments of white minority rule and adopt a new constitution and do away with racially based schools and racially based universities. Now, we can't consolidate those gains unless we move to a second phase, which largely must be about economic transformation. We can even lose, if we don't transform our economy, we can even lose the gains we made during the first phase of our democratic transition. Now, there is a cancer that is consuming our movement, and only the workers can deal with that. Now, the fourth thing, which is about the last thing that the last part, one thing I want to talk about as a message of the SACP. Let's solidify this relationship between the SACP and Cosatu, comrades, and let's not take it for granted. You know what will save the ANC is a strong bond between the SACP and Cosatu. The socialist axis of the National Democratic Revolution is the SACP and Cosatu. Now, since your last Congress, we have had lots of meetings and we have agreed on a common program of action. Now, your task in this Central Committee is to say, how do we implement this? Not talk more, not add too many things. What are those? We have agreed, for instance, that we must act together to ensure that the national health insurance is implemented and is not stolen by the bourgeoisie. We must convene the second financial sector summit. And I want to challenge. Kukhona ama-comrades ethu lana athi no iranda liwe sovuka nalo sesivuka nalo nge-radical economic transformation. I say, hey, this is voodoo economics. Comrade Yeshen, real voodoo economics. Lama comrades kufuna siwabuyisele esikoleni. They don't understand that if the Johannesburg Stock Exchange collapses, 12.5% of all the money invested in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange is the Public Investment Corporation, which is the workers' monies from the government employees' pension fund. We are destroying a pension yabasebenzi. That's how big the PIC is, by the way, in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. So when we say transform the financial sector, we need to ask the question, how is this money invested? Le mali PIC, most of it is being invested in building malls in the township. Nangu baleni, France. Asikho isitolo sakwabaleni uma ungena kwimall ngeke usithole, not even a single one. It's the same monopoly shops that are actually there. These things don't even create significant jobs. We want the PIC to invest more in industrial production, manufacturing, so that we are able to create more jobs. Hey. Pop, Sat, Nehau, Ubanomunyi, Dinos. Well, my comrades, please come close to this PIC. Please come close to this PIC. Because we don't know what may be happening now. So that we are able to guard that your own pensions are invested properly. We support Cosatu on the Job Summit. We must work together. That's another joint campaign. But let's first convene an SACP Cosatu caucus before we go to NEDLEC, so that we are able to say, what is it that we want to come out of this job summit? This comprehensive social security, comrades, take it up. We are pleased that Nehau has been starting to have action on this particular matter. The Communist Party fully supports you. So let's discuss these practical measures. Comrades, a relationship, SACP, President. The relationship between the SACP and Cosatu can only be able to strengthen the alliance if we reconfigure the alliance. God is called, saying the alliance must change. It has to change now. You see this thing, that we all go and campaign, and then the ANC goes on its own to PWC in a province has decided to go to Banozo by MEC on its own, must come to an end. It's old and outmoded. It's not because we are interested in positions. Don't insult us. We are not interested in positions. It's because if we are an MEC or a minister, we are wielding state power. We are interested in state power as the Communist Party and Cosatu. That's what you are wielding. That is why, my comrades, singers whose stand isn't as ngahambi. So, babili, you know, we have come to a very uncomfortable conclusion. The President akahle manje is a precondition of moving forward. Not because we dislike him as a person, but there are certain things now that are happening that should not be happening, that he should not be doing. We must change. We are going to our Congress to discuss this matter. We are no longer going to be complaining now. No, we are not. We are not going to be having an individual or a group of people deciding on very important things. It's not about positions, it's about state power. Comrade Maju. Yazi mase nicule eMpumalanga nithi niyasifuna le state power. Ngeke nibanjwe umuntu msuke senifana nenhlanya. Yes, we agree with you. We have an interest in state power. The last thing,
Well, these are live visuals from Cosatu's 6th Central Committee meeting that's currently underway in Pretoria. You're listening to a very robust, very emotive delivery from Dr. Bladen Zimande, very clearly wearing his communist cap today, speaking in his capacity as the SACP General Secretary. Now, he's been at the podium for the last hour or so. He's saying the most immediate threats, or one of the most immediate threats facing South Africa right now, is the controversial Gupta family, who's working with high-level politicians. And Zimande saying the SACP remains committed to the transformation of the financial sector, including the banks, for the benefit of the workers and the poor. He highlighted a few signature issues.
by answering the question, how will that advance the national democratic revolution and the struggle for socialism? We must be forward-looking. There are a number of factors, though, that have made the SACP to pose this question. Firstly, there are many people now who are saying, we are not going to vote ANC. We are not going to go and vote at all, because we are not happy about certain things that are happening in the ANC. Some of them have been beginning to put pressure on us. You know, in the last local government elections, in many provinces, in particular, Itegwini region was worse, saying, why is it? Abanye, they even went and registered the Communist Party illegally without us. The Eastern Cape, Alfred Nzo, we had to take them to court. It was sad and painful, but we had to do it in order to stand firm on our ground. There is increasing pressure that we should stand. There is also an uncomfortable question, but which we need to ask, as Comrade Utambo has said. Between August 3 last year, when the ANC lost some of the big metros, and now, has it been acting in a manner that it is able to self-correct itself, or it's just going down one way? What does that mean? The question is the ANC still capable of rescuing itself? We must not allow the DA and all these other forces to ask that question. It's us, as the socialist axis, which must ask that question and seek to answer it. Ingabuzwa abanye abantu on our behalf. Now, if the ANC is incapable of playing this role, what should be its substitute? Because as the Communist Party, we can't, strictly speaking. But there might as well in future be a need to mobilize a whole range of forces to play this role if the ANC is unable to play this. We are not giving up. We must not give up on the African National Congress. But I think that's a key question that also you must consider. Comrades, umsebenzi omkhulu, by the way, with Cosatu is to rebuild its structures and to service its members. That's one of the main messages. And we think as part of doing that, we need to revive something we used to do in the 1980s. You would not have a workers' strike which just goes on for weeks without mobilizing the community. We need worker community action. And as the Communist Party, we are in communities. We are prepared to play that role because we've got branches there. But do not, therefore, though, become workerist. Service workers, but do not become workerist, because workerist means all what we are looking at is the workplace and forget about the bigger picture. We want to feel workplace power in working with communities and in the broader politics of the country without you turning into becoming a political party. Njengalamanye ama-comrades alida lenye federation entsha. By the way, as the Communist Party, I'm sure Cosatu, we have no problems with the workers who are there. It's in a problem the leadership here. Some of them. They say they have no interest in politics. It's going to be an independent federation, but at the same time they are discussing about forming a workers' party. We want a strong Cosatu, my comrades. That's the message. And we will do all we can to back you up as a South African Communist Party. We will never abandon Cosatu because a weak Cosatu is a weak revolution. My ma was a kitchen. Oh, my father was a garden. Oh, that's why I'm a woman. Oh, my mother was a kitchen. Oh, my father was a garden. Oh, that's why I'm a woman. I'm a woman. Oh, that's why I'm a woman. So that's why I'm a woman. Oh, that's why I'm a woman. Manda! Ikosati yasetshenzilwa. Anala. Ikosati yasetshenzilwa. Anala. Ayithengwa ngethenda. Hey! Ayithengwa ngethenda. Hey mo! Aus! Ikosati yasetshenzilwa. Anala. Ikosati yasetshenzilwa. Anala. Hey! Hey-o!
emazweni abende kulaba bantu